It's time to run it back with my brother from another mother, fellow sensei. Back in the house, we're unleashed. It's time for extra. It's time for Total Football Talk.
The following is a presentation of Sertoba Media and Comey Media Incorporated.
Oh yeah, it's that time again. Time for Total Football Talk Extra as we are live. Episode 19 in the house. I think I zoomed in a little bit too far. I'm your host, Drew Willingham, as we were rocking and rolling with Shenanigery in the green room, a fellow co-host, guest co-host for tonight's episode on Sertoba Media, on Comey Media, as well as simulcasted on Snowman Multimedia. This is a gentleman who's a great friend of mine, somebody that I have several episodes, I believe it's 36 episodes of the Sports Senseis Unleashed, a project that we had started up together a couple years ago and had done for quite some time. And now, for the first time in quite some time, my fellow sensei, we are back in the house. We're going to talk football and also about someone that we know about oh so well for 20 plus years of his own shenanigery out here in these streams. Give it up for my guest tonight, my man, Brian Snow. Welcome to the show there, Snowman.
2 years is entirely too long to be away from you, my brother. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I totally appreciate it. I am honored.
2 years flown by in a flash. We
had
2023 and recovery. We know the battle, the road. You and I both had our own health scares throughout the 2020s. And having to make comebacks. And now that we're here to be able to talk sports and to enjoy this time yet again on a Friday night, which during these times on Fridays, I was at work. My schedule flipped. I work Monday through Thursday now to where I'm on call. And now I can, have some freedoms to where hang out with you, go do some family stuff, and enjoy the Christmas weekend as you can still celebrate throughout the weekend, even if you worked it throughout the week during Christmas,
Yep.
in my opinion. And right now, the last show I'm doing before my holiday break for a couple days is with my man Snowman, the Snowman Brian Snow. Look at the graphic with the Snowman holding a football with the Snowman as we are hype. This feels like an episode of the Sports Senseis Unleashed. As we are here, Total Football Talk Extra, as yourself, along with, Ryan McCarthy started this out with me with talking CFL when the NFL started like this.
Beautiful.
Scientist. I'm going to get the mad scientist.
Of course.
Up one for
who else could put intros together like that, man? Who else?
There it is. The Friday's normally the day. It's usually I get it done earlier in the day, but because I didn't get the Commander's Gridiron Report done earlier this week, I had to get it done for the content earlier today. And with other things happening, I had to push it back. Finally got it done. But right here, right now, Total Football Talk Extra is in the house. And Snowman, we've got 4 games to go back and recap. 4 games we have to talk about.
That
from
we
Monday
do.
night, from 2 on Christmas on Netflix, the premier football on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to get your thoughts on that. We also have to get the thoughts on
Okay.
as he has a
Somehow
sighting.
I have the feeling an extra person will join on the fun.
Trying to get all, I'm trying to pull some strings while you and I are talking. There's going to be moments where you're going to be talking and I'm going to be pulling double duty, trying to get someone on up in here to not just click the
Okay.
but to say a few words. As look at this cry baby face right here, Snowman. Look how pathetic it is. I mean, can you believe the audacity of this man who has a meme with this picture right here to say anything in regards to sports and where football's place in line actually is? This, to me, is an absolute travesty, but we have a whole lot to talk about on tonight's
we got
episode.
we're gonna have a whole lot of fun with that.
Yes, we will. And we still have to get to that one. But on Monday, we had an absolute slaughter. An absolute slaughter this past Monday night. And for that, we have to take this into the Monday night game to review what we saw in this past one. An absolute dumpster Pelican whooping 34-0 as the Green Bay Packers host the Saints. A former team that used to be of relevance when Drew Brees was around, but since the 2020 season, they've struggled. They've struggled to have an identity. You know, they've struggled with injuries at the quarterback position with Derek Carr. You know, and here they put up a goose egg with Spencer Rattler, and only putting up 153 yards on the day with 1 interception. He completed 50% of his passes, but looking at this for what it is, Snowman, 1 interception, no touchdowns in this game. Spencer Rattler, 5 carries for 28 yards he adds on the ground. But, you know, besides the quarterback getting 28 yards on the ground on 5 carries, 15 carries for 39 yards between 3 running backs. That's absolute dumpster Pelican worthy. Yes, perfect. Because that's what the Saints were doing. They couldn't establish a running game. Their top receiver had 2 receptions for 33 yards.
He did what?
Yes, 2 receptions for 33 yards. Then Dante Pettis, right behind him, 2 receptions for 31 yards. It's only 2 yards of a difference, but you still sucked, Snowman. What in the father is going on out here on these fields? Tell me. Because the Packers come in, they host them. Jordan Love only puts up 182 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 16-28. Josh Jacobs was only 13 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown. It wasn't like watching Saquon Barkley go off and in 29 carries, 150-some yards, 2 touchdowns, and then it goes the other way because you have a different quarterback in it. Ryan, we'll talk about old Kenny Pickett here in a bit. But Emmanuel Wilson helped out a little bit with the rushing, 11 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown. Chris Brooks had a rushing touchdown, but only on 6 carries for 23 yards. I mean, the receiving for this Packers team didn't woe me, but the Packers team this season, playing in a tough division, have been that sleeper team, in my opinion. At 11-4 for their record, you're going up against Detroit, and you're going up against Minnesota in the same division, where easily within the last 2 games in the season, we could see a flip between the number 1 and the number 5 seed, which would be crazy.
Absolutely
Crazy. But what are your thoughts with all that being said between, you know, with this game right here just being out of hand from the jump?
Let's see. How would my grandson put this? Green Bay's here. New Orleans, you can't even see on the page. In the immortal words of one of my favorite radio play-by-play announcers in Paul Allen, and this describes New Orleans to a T.
Are you kidding me?
What can Chris?
What in the all types of blue hell
Was that?
Perfect. Perfectly played. Shout out to the bass. Shout out to Chris
What
Bass.
was you? You know what? When New Orleans stepped on the field on Monday night in Lambeau Field, shout to the late John Facenda. You could tell from the first snap of the game that New Orleans took that it was. Or if you want to go a little bit further, for all of my old school video game heads,
Sonic.
Yep.
Sonic, Sega Genesis, Sonic, 90s Sonic. You know I grew up in that time frame, Snowman. I was barely out of Huggies, expletiving my pants. But Snowman, I know exactly what you're talking about video games. Don't get me started. I'll go on.
I know. I know. You and I are right here. Okay. That's what we saw on Monday night. Green Bay, you were talking about the numbers a moment ago, and you were reading the numbers, what Green Bay did, and you said something to the tune of they didn't show out that much. You're playing New Orleans. You didn't have to. You're not playing Drew Brees. You're not playing Sean Payton. You're not playing any receiver from that era. You're not playing the same New Orleans Saints as when Drew Brees was there for 16 years. Matter of fact, oh Lord, I can't believe I found this soundbite. It was when New Orleans took their first snap and then Green Bay took the ball back. They just simply told him, "Shut up, fool," and sit down. Matter of fact, Spencer Rattler, you're fired.
Yes, I love it.
I'm breaking them all out tonight.
You know, I got some aces in the hole for later in the show. I can't use them all too soon because I was using them all in the green room before we even got started. You and I are talking. I'm just all of a sudden clicking random buttons. Like, you know, even you know, Bruce was getting in on the action. Bruce was just straight up. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I mean, it is the holiday season. 'Tis the season to be jolly. And while I was at work the other night, you know, on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I did it both days. People watch A Christmas Story on Christmas during the rerun throughout the 24-hour span. I don't. I boycott it. I find a way each and every year, whether it's been on VHS back in the day, or DVD, or Netflix, or any type of streaming service, I watched the best Christmas movie of all time, and that's Die Hard, Snowman.
Yes!
Right here with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Oh, my brother, testify!
You know, when it comes
that's
to
one of my favorite movies.
Yes. When it comes to knowing me, Snowman, was that a total
surprise, motherfucker?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yes, no, none whatsoever. But
none.
When
absolutely none.
When it comes to this game, I mean, let's bring this graphic back up here for one more time. I mean, this game right here was just absolutely, in my opinion and yours, I would say you would have to agree with this one.
After the first series of the game,
cry like LeBron in this graphic. That is what I see inside the New Orleans Saints locker room after an ass whooping like that. I mean, I could say that. I mean, we're not this show is not on the radio. Our other
listen,
not this one.
It was a total ass whooping.
Yes.
I mean, it was a Stone Cold Steve Austin special. While I'm pulling buttons out, Green Bay told New Orleans,
"Nothing for you."
No, so for you, Snowman.
No, so for you.
Jeez, man. But with this Monday night game, it was definitely, I guess, something to behold. I don't know, man. I'm uncomfortable watching games like these. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do out here in these. I'm just going to skim on over real quick just to see, because I don't know if we do or not for the original Total Football Talk. I don't think we have anything for Wednesday. Yeah, of course, you got to have that graphic up there. But no, because Christmas is different and it's a different day, But, this was from this past week's episode. You guys already know what's going on. This is from Monday when I rolled solo on Monday when Cole was traveling for Christmas. But back to Total Football Talk Extra right here. That's what we do up here on the Extra edition. We just talked about the Monday game. We don't have a transition for the next one, but we'll go ahead and shift it this way into the proper way by doing it into the opening drive.
All right, let's go. We got trips, right? At 42, 989. On two. Ready? Ready!
Kind of helps
Works
out
for
for
me.
the miscue of not clicking the button early. But what we do have is we do have that going into a Wednesday Christmas Day game fest on Netflix of 2 games. The Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers and absolutely treating it like it was Arrowhead Stadium, Snowman. Looking at this for what it was. Chiefs get to 15-1, and it wasn't the prettiest way that they got to 14-1 before that, but in this game they actually looked like a Super Bowl contending team. I mean, would you say? I mean, they actually looked like what they had been living up to over the past 2 years, except for their running game, but I'll get to that more here in a minute. Travis Kelce, though, turned back the clock enough to pass Tony Gonzalez on the all-time receiving record for tight ends. He has 8 receptions in this game for 84 yards, also with another touchdown. Between him and Mahomes, the duo between these two has been absolutely insane and better than what the two of them had with him and Alex Smith back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at that for what it is, you compare that to Russell Wilson, which I know you'll have fun with that when we get to that segment later. That's after we review the games, but you know exactly what I'm insinuating over there.
Mm-hmm.
23 of 37, 205 yards on the day with 1 interception. Najee Harris, though, 13 carries, 74 yards. He did establish a pretty decent amount of a run, but when you compare that to what the Chiefs did with not much of a run, but what they did in the air, Patrick Mahomes, 29 of 38 for 320 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. We already covered what he did with Kelce, but looking at Xavier Worthy, you had your touchdown to Travis Kelce. You had your touchdown to rookie Xavier Worthy, who is one of the steals, this draft. You look at what JD is to the Washington Commanders. Xavier Worthy is getting better each and every week in this NFL system with the Chiefs. 8 catches for 79 yards, just behind their number one weapon for over a decade in Kelce, who had 8 of 84 for a touch. You got Xavier Worthy with 5 yards less on the same amount of catches, but another production in the same with the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin Watson with 2 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. I mean, statistically, this team looked like they were, the team of old, but there were certain elements within watching this game, not only with it being on Netflix and kind of pissing me off a little bit, but we'll get more into that here in a minute with the production of Netflix and how RG3 ate that cake like he ate that Subway sub roll or whatever it was that got him booted from ESPN to begin with. But going back from that, and Harrison Butker having a perfect day on the field goals, and with all that, and I still can't get that image of RG3. Yeah, we'll get back to all that. He should be a snowflake of the week pick for this week for that. I should have picked him. He gets an
Don't
honorable
tempt me.
mention.
Don't tempt
You
me.
can't change it. The vote's
I
already
know.
in. It's like the presidential election.
This is why I was saying when we were talking we were talking in the back, and I was trying to choose one. You gave me this because we were getting ready to go on. But man, I'll say more about the production of Netflix later. But as far as this game goes, I have a very simple saying. To be the champs, you must unseat the champs. And the way it's looking right now, the only team that may have a chance to unseat them is the Buffalo Bills. But problem is, they're going to have to go to Missouri to do it.
I was saying the same thing, but then with Josh Allen in the hand with last week, and he only was able to throw like 150 yards. He was actually my snowflake of the week pick last week because of his lack of production. And then when you dive deeper into it and look at the fact that it was the hand, and I thought about it again after that episode, I kind of felt like a dick after that episode for going as hard as I did on Josh Allen. I'll just be straight up and own my own mistake and, hold myself accountable for that. Just being real. Like I was like, once I found more out about the hand, because it was kind of quiet at that point when we talked about it on Monday. There wasn't much reporting about it when we went live early Monday. So later that night, Tuesday, whatever it was, and I'm finding out, it was the hand affecting him. I kind of felt bad, but it's my pick this year. I'm sorry about, your 49ers. I've been talking smack a little bit about them a little bit, but I will say this.
Brother, I've been talking smack about my own team, okay? Does that tell you anything?
Just like I did with the Commanders last year. You remember that? You remember as much shade
I
as
do
I was
remember it
throwing
well.
down. And it's been fun doing the Commanders Gridiron Report, CGR, and having these episodes now where next week will be episode 40, where at this point I'm talking about them in a positive light, talking about what they can improve on each week. And the crazy thing is that a lot of the things that I'm discussing on there with, like, Sick Diggy in the chat and others that will acknowledge their comments here in a minute as well, they're bringing up some really good points to where it's not like the Commanders are watching the show, but they're already having these types of discussions. So it's fun being a part of the repairing and rebuilding journey of this team. The fact that I was at the Hail Mary game, to be a part of it, that part was awesome. It's better than if anybody were to go sit and watch a game consisting of...
Okay.
Well, he's not even guaranteed to go. He's going to be sitting out that game because he doesn't feel good, or he's got to sit in the chamber.
I had a couple of occasions where I had a chance to see the real number 23 do his thing live. And one of those two times was the NBA World Championship in 1991 at Old Chicago Stadium, which still gives me nightmares from the standpoint of the noise where my ears were ringing. But I saw that final play. My wife and I saw that final play with Jaden Daniels hitting that Hail Mary walk-off touchdown, and both of us jumped. Both of us looked at it. Mike, check your mic. Check your mic, Drew.
Excellent. But I was there on the 10-yard line. On the 10-yard line, like, they were like $300 seats. But I mean, you got splurge a little bit when you haven't been in several years, and you're throwing in with a friend, and those contributions and drive and food, all sorts of stuff. We lived like kings that day. We got there early. We were grilling out. It was fun. You'll have to go back and watch that episode. I did a whole episode on it with Commander's Gridiron Report with my recap. You know what? While we're talking about football, I do have this on here for Snowman. This is when the Bears fan came up to me and interrupted me at the end of that Hail Mary game.
Tossed that ball up in the air.
Washington's still not a playoff team.
And this motherfather just interrupted my interview. But right here, we're going to keep going because we're going to have a great time. Shout out to Dude Man who came on over. But straight up, 12-7 going into the last of the fourth quarter. Jaden Daniels, after the Bears scored a touchdown, went for a 2-point conversion. They were down 15-12. All they needed.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
There it is, Snowman. It was right after the Hail Mary game. I drank I drank a lot of beer that day.
To the fan that came up,
He did what?
Yep, he interrupted me. What'd you think about the Sertoba Media mic flag?
I love it. I love it.
Gotta shout out to the championship, to my friends with the custom makers over there. Championship culture. They made a great present right there. Myself, right? The deal was, because I was getting ready to cut the hair and donate it.
Yeah.
They made it, and I paid practically nothing because I traded them some tickets during WrestleMania weekend that I had acquired.
Nice. Very nice.
Very, very nice in price. And, they put in some money towards the belt, and it came to be where I had to wait until that I got the belt and take some pictures before I can cut the hair. The deal was, I get deal on belt. They thought the hair was like Kevin Nash. They wanted to see like Kevin Nash pictures, 'cause they have like a portfolio of like all the different belts that they make.
Yes.
And they wanted my picture to have me with the hair. So
nice.
I did the pictures. Like 3 days later, donated the hair. I was ready. It was summer. It was hot. It was June. It was like
You know what?
mid-June at this point.
You know what Cowboy fans are thinking right now? You remember this button?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Oh wait, with the one thing with the Steelers, because we did jump off track with this.
Right.
The Steelers, Minka Fitzpatrick still, made some noise with Patrick Queen over there, but T.J. Watt getting banged up a few weeks back, I feel like has definitely been making an impact on why the Steelers team has been struggling, losing the past 3 games. I mean, three straight games in a row. They have been struggling, against the Ravens, against the Chiefs, against the Eagles, just lost to the Commanders. Their last win was against a team that was under 500 in the Browns. What are your thoughts with, going through this game with the Chiefs? Is this going to be something that rejuvenates them to where they can bounce back? Or is this going to be another nail in the coffin as to why the Steelers have been kind of pretenders all along throughout this season?
The Pittsburgh Steelers, let me use my New York accent because I know Victor loves this, and a belated birthday and Merry Christmas to my buddy from Chicago. The Pittsburgh Steelers are frauds, period. I'll say it again. Matter of fact, give me this camera for a couple of minutes. The Pittsburgh Steelers are frauds. Why? You'll understand why later on in the show. Okay. I said what I need to say. The Steelers are frauds. You got to think about it. Matter of fact, this is the way I can put it when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They run out to a great record, 9-3, 10-3, and now all of a sudden they're riding a bumpy road to its finish, which is going to cost them the division. You just got to think.
It just don't add up.
And it's not going to add up at the end of the season. The Steelers are frauds. If they get a wild card, great. Will they do anything with the wild card? No. Just remember what happened last year. And thinking about it, they're saying,
I've never been so humiliated in all my life.
Matter of fact, this is how the Steelers season has gone. And I'll give the camera back here. Matter of fact, you can take it back now. I can. Early in the season, well, last year, after they got blown out by the Buffalo Bills, they were thinking,
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Then this season comes, and they get off to a great start. They're thinking, we could do something with Justin Fields. I'll speak on that on January 6th. They get off to a great record. They get off to a great start. And they're thinking,
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
But then the eventual fall, thanks to a key injury, TJ Watt. That happens. And now they're letting the lead slip away in the North Division. And
I've never been so humiliated in all my life.
Therein is the Pittsburgh Steelers season in 60 seconds. You want further proof? Look at the Christmas game.
I just don't know with this game right here if this is more of a proving of the doubters for the Chiefs in how they've been winning games this year, proving them wrong, or proving the doubters in the Steelers throughout the way they've been winning games this year right. Which one of these? Because both of these teams have had shade thrown at them throughout this year. And how they've been winning games. The Steelers, with what they had with the quarterback dynamic, with not figuring out till almost midway throughout the season who their starting quarterback was. And then even when they figured it out, it took Russell a few games to really get going, to where it wasn't really like until the past month or two where he really started looking like the Russell Wilson of old within the past 4 to 6 weeks. But when we see in a game like this, it's not consistent, to where when you face a team in similar to a game that we're about to talk about next for our second Christmas game of the day, I mean, when you're a team that's like, hyped up throughout your division, can win your division or get a wild card spot, but then you go and face the team that is the number 1 or 2 seed in the conference, and then they show you why they are the number 1 or 2 seed in the conference at this point, and then especially lock it up with this win right here. But you see these type of wins when it just goes to validate what we've been watching throughout the past like half decade with this Chiefs team throughout the NFL. And people can get mad all they want to about this team continuously winning, but I mean, they are not like the Patriots. It's not like their attitude is not like that, to where with Belichick back then, you wanted to see somebody else win if you weren't a part of it. They were like the modern era of the Cowboys. But for what it is now, like if the Chiefs win, I'm not going to be upset about it. I kind of think for historical purposes, it would be cool to watch the Chiefs win a 3rd Super Bowl in a row.
Yep. It would be wonderful to see that happen because I love Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
And it's simple. I said it before and I'll say it again, even if it's against my team. To be the champs, you must unseat the champs. You really expect Pittsburgh to do something against Kansas City? Wrong. Wrong. I mean, look, I've known about Patrick Mahomes since his days at Texas Tech, and I knew I knew that the correct team that drafted him, he would light up the NFL. There we are. There we are.
If only we could get paid the millions of dollars to make these decisions for the front office, of these organizations. Build these championship winners, man. But it's still fun covering them and seeing, with everything that they put together on paper, and
it is, man.
Dissect it and pick what's wrong with it and stuff.
It's fun to see it, and you think there will be times, they're not going to do what everybody thinks they're going to do. Yeah, they are. Come on now. I mean, they have a rough patch, yet they're still winning. And Droid said something to me that the clear difference between them and the 49ers is that the Chiefs adjusted faster when they went through in their injury slots. We had so many of them pile up week after week after week. I mean, the Niners began the year at a deficit. Christian McCaffrey, hello. When you lose your biggest weapon in your offense, you're gonna have problems. But I got kudos upon kudos and nothing but love for the Kansas City Chiefs because of the way they adjusted when they kept losing parts of their team. Even Patrick Mahomes after the Cleveland game. Now, Mahomes put up 326 yards on a short week, but it's the way you adjust throughout the course of the season, and we're seeing it right now with the Chiefs. They get a week off after the season. They get a chance to heal. And whoever's going to win, they're going to have to come through Kansas City. Good luck.
Very true. They don't want Carson Wentz playing. They do not want
Dear
Carson
God, no.
Wentz playing
Dear
in this
God.
game.
You know what? Everything's locked up. That's it. Everything's locked up. Everything's locked up. Andy Reid's like, okay, we're cool. We can rest who we need to rest. We can start getting an early start on our preparation for the divisional round. That's that.
We'll see how things go for this team right here. But for the first game on Christmas Day, it as bad as and ugly as it looked like we just covered, you didn't think it could get any worse. But it actually did when we look at what I would probably say, based on the deficit, would be the... Shout out to our friends over at Punch Deck for creating the music and allowing us the ability to use it on our YouTube channels without any type of strikes, as we are collaborators with them out here in these streams. But speaking of that, for our intro into the upset of the week, we have to acknowledge the fact that the Baltimore Ravens came into Houston, and literally I feel bad for Cole and what we're about to say about his team right here, because you cannot be a playoff team and even if you lose to a team like the Baltimore Ravens, lose in this manner, and you only put up, you would have had a shutout against you had they not given you the safety right there. I mean, that was like literally a gimme because they didn't want to take a chance of injury because of how far back they were pinned.
Right.
You might as well take the safety there, and they literally gave you the points. They tried to save us from having another incident like we just talked about when we reviewed Monday night's game.
Mm-hmm.
So, right here with the Ravens, traveling to Houston, our man Cole Johnson, our man who gives us great things to click on like this.
Okay.
And we'll mother father and talk about him later. Don't you worry. Don't you sweat.
I will
We'll talk
never
about
get
him.
enough of that. I gotta have that button now. I will never get enough of that.
We'll definitely pass it on there, Snowman. We share things out here in these streams. Absolutely. Once the stream is over, we will definitely click a share and make it happen. But when it comes to this, when it comes to the Ravens and the Texans, Snowman, looking at this game, you know, Lamar Jackson only 10 of 15, 168 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Johnson only 1 of 2 for 16 yards, playing cleanup duty there in the fourth quarter when they had the sizable lead of 31-2. You know, you look at what Derrick Henry did first quarter with a 2-yard run over there for old King Henry. He got his little robe there at the end. He got to wear his robe, Snowman. At the end of the first quarter, Justin Tucker trying to shake up his confidence a little bit, getting it a little bit better. He's had a rough year this year. He's been kind of having a human year, you know, for the first time, not the all-time leader as an NFL kicker. They're up 10-0 at this point because he kicked a 52-yard field goal at the end of the first quarter. You know, Kamari Lassiter gets a safety right there with 10 minutes and 9 seconds left in the second quarter. It's the only time in this damn game that the Texans expletive scored. I had to watch myself because Cole does not want us to cuss and use, you know, big words on Comey Media, and respect for that because it is
Respect all the way.
Comey Media. I will watch. I will say certain words, but you know what I wanted to say. You know what I wanted to say. In that moment, Snowman, I'm telling you, this is the only score, and it's in the second quarter because the rest of it was just blase blah with Isaiah Likely's 9-yard pass, you know, caught in from Lamar Jackson with the Justin Tucker kick. They're up 17-2 at halftime now. 17-2. That's only 2 possessions. That's 2 touchdowns with an extra point and a 2-point conversion for 15 points. They're back in the game. But the momentum wasn't on their side. It didn't look good in the first half. CJ, with the passing game, the running attack, their offensive line was like human turnstiles. He was running for his life. They have not been playing like the team that you would look at going into this game at 9-6 coming into this game. You know, they're a playoff team on paper. But 9-6, you come in, of course you're playing a team in the Baltimore Ravens who are 10-5. You've got the Pittsburgh Steelers in your division. It's been tough this year. We just talked about the tough game they had with the Chiefs. It's the very end of the year, and the very teams that we're seeing that could be potentially making playoff pushes, not just making it, but depending on seeding. These are the teams that we're getting an idea of who's going to win these big games in the next month. And I just don't like what I'm seeing out of the Houston Texans, especially against teams that are above 500. And when you see a team like the Baltimore Ravens who are 5 games over 500, you are 3 games over 500. It's not too much of a difference, a little bit. But this record, Cole and I have talked about it all season long on Total Football Talk, how the record is masking some deficiencies within this team, and CJ Stroud has had a bit of a sophomore slump, and we were talking about that at the end of September, going into October. It's now 2 months later, and those things that we are talking about are starting to really show right now because he's 17-31 for 185 yards and an interception. No offensive production from Joe Mixon. Quiet, 9 carries, 26 yards. All the hype on him and the acquisition of him and the flashes in the pan that we saw. Even Nico Collins was only able to bring in 3 receptions for 59 yards. He was like the highlight of this entire team with just 3 catches. but he averaged almost 20 yards per catch. So him being that highlight in comparison to Derrick Henry, 27 carries, 147 yards, and 1 touchdown. King Henry at age 30, the north side of 30, is getting it done and in a perfect situation. I look forward to getting your thoughts with this, along with Mark Andrews at a healthy state at this point. He had a run to where at the end of every year it seemed like he was getting banged up to where he wasn't able to make a run, wasn't able to do anything with them in the playoffs, and it was affecting the entire flow of the offense. And they didn't have a running back. Now they got a running back, they got a tight end. You look at what they're doing, overall, with their running attack outside of that. Lamar Jackson still has 87 rushing yards on 4 carries for a touchdown on top of it. So altogether, Lamar Jackson's got 3 touchdowns. It's making me regret my my grand champ of the week already, but I got to stick with it. I got to stay loyal. Got to stay loyal out here, Snowman. But when it comes to that, Justin Tucker only had 1 opportunity to kick a field goal. He was perfect. That one we talked about earlier, 52 yards. What are your thoughts when looking at this absolutely terrible rendition of what we probably need to really look at and say is more of a dumpster fire than anything? But we'll just
acknowledge me. Gladly.
Snowman's thoughts now.
Gladly. The Houston Texans are in serious trouble if they can't keep C.J. Stroud upright. Joe Mixon for the Texans was supposed to equal Derrick Henry to the Ravens. Here's the problem. Joe Mixon had early success. Derrick Henry is having success at the right time, which is now, where he is needed. There was a horrible stretch, I want to say 4 to 5 games, where Derrick Henry got less than 20 touches per game. Now, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are realizing, hey, we got him for a reason. We got him to be our workhorse now. Give him the football. And something else that people don't realize, the Texans were without Joe Mixon for 2 games due to an injury. And now all these other injuries, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, their offensive line, they're cropping up at the wrong time. They are cropping up at the wrong time. The Texans won their division by default. 2 wins over the Colts will do that for you. And on top of that, if these 2 were to meet again, A, Houston would have to go to Baltimore, and B, I don't see how they would beat them again. It'd be a repeat of last year, 34-10 in the divisional round.
Kind of fires me up a little bit, Snowman, thinking about it. Just thinking about how, Cole is feeling that frustration of watching this team. And, if I were to watch a team like if the Commanders had a 9-7 record, which it's a little bit better. I'm not trying to rub it in. It's 10-5 at this point. They still got to play one more game. If they win, it's 11-5. If they lose, it's 10-6. But it's still, not to rub it in, better than what Cole's seeing. But he also saw a really good year last year, as to where I saw 4-13. You're seeing a tough year this year with your 49ers. We all have our tough years.
Yep.
I had some tough years, but the Houston Texans had some really tough years back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when we'll talk about it more on Monday, but I'm just basically say, hey, you really know what it was tough. I'm talking about before you had Matt Schaub and had a little bit of a glimmer of a hope before he started getting banged up. Once you were able to really start investing in the line, you got some really good, solid, culture in there with the new ownership. It just goes to show you how much an ownership change can really affect the entirety of a culture within a locker room, Snowman. So,
very true.
I mean, what do you think, though, for the chances for this Texas team? Can they get outside of the wild card round?
With this team, no, because they are too beat up. After this, I say they can, but they must repair the offensive line. Joe Mixon has got to stay healthy. C.J. Stroud has got to stay healthy, and he's got to stay upright. And their biggest weapon has got to stay healthy. That's Tank Dell. And another thing they have to do on offense, more of an offense, is do what teams like the Chiefs and the 49ers and the Eagles do what they're doing. Use your tight ends. You got a good one in Dalton Schultz. Use him.
Facts. I don't see why you're not really. I mean, you're not incorporating him properly.
Exactly.
Plays up a little bit more.
You got the weapons. Use them. It's pretty simple. You got the weapons. Use them. Why are teams so allergic to using the weapons that they acquire, draft, or get another way? Why are they so allergic to using the weapons? It's like a question that Cole has posed to both of us on the air. Why are teams allergic to running the football? Why are you allergic to using your weapons? You got them there. Use them.
Yes. Very true. Yeah, we established more of the run and what we talk about in Total Football Talk than what half these teams out here do in the league.
Exactamundo.
Cannot just completely talk about establishing the run. You have to do it. You have to put your actions in play. And that's what a lot of these teams need to do. And the Steelers, I mean, we talk about the Steelers, we talk about the Chiefs, talk about the Ravens, talk about the Texans, and all this affecting the AFC, affecting the seedings. The Ravens winning, the Steelers losing. The Ravens are taking this division.
Yep.
The Steelers are at best wild card. We'll talk more about that. I got the whole playoff bracket breakdowns. We still have one more game that's not quite as lopsided in score, but it's kind of a
It's heading that way.
yeah. You already know, Snowman. We had so much fun with the shenanigery in the damn green room, and now we're here actually live on the air. We got to talk about it now. We got to break it down. Shades and all. I'm looking forward to seeing this character breakdown at some point here soon. But we got to wait until we really get to that point where we take the massive. By way of having to talk about.
Okay.
You know how it is, Snowman, up here in these streams. But with that, we've now gone through the Christmas Day games. We went through Monday nights, routing Green Bay Packers, hosting the Saints. When it comes to Christmas, the Chiefs making the Steelers their expletive while being the road team. And then the Ravens following suit as the road team, doing the same in Houston. We now have to take it to the Thursday game. And that Thursday game being this. Absolute high scoring. Oh, wait, my bad. Not high scoring. It's
Man, don't you ever do that again.
Get excited, and then all of a sudden, boom, Snowman, bam,
and then this happened. You know what? I was talking with my staff, and they asked me, "Are you going to cover the Thursday night game between the Seahawks and the Bears?" No. And the final decision came from my wife, because there were a few games that she vetoed and basically said, "You don't need to do this one. It's going to be boring." I think Dr. K saw this one a mile and a half away, because we were driving home from the in-laws, and I looked at my scores. I looked at my basketball scores. She looked at me and said, "Who plays Thursday night?" I whip out the phone and I look it up, and I said, "It's the Seahawks and the Bears." And before I could start laughing, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "Don't even think about it. It ain't worth it." I lost it. I was laughing for 40 minutes on the way home.
So, man, I tell you, it was pitiful. It was absolutely pitiful. I had it on at work, and I was.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was apologizing to our team and my colleagues, because we have TVs in there, but like for some reason our cable hasn't been working, and I bring my Roku player in there because there's a TV. It's literally right above my desk.
Yeah.
In our area, so I hook it up. So we have football on Mondays and Thursdays when I'm there, and there was nothing going on at work. We were watching football. It sucked, and then something popped up to where I had to go walk out to the other part of the building and do something for about an hour. I was glad to get away from the desk because I couldn't deal with that game anymore. It was terrible, Snowman. It was absolutely terrible.
It stunk.
6-3. The entirety of the game was scored in the first half. Nothing happened.
Nothing after that.
Halftime. 21 seconds left in the first half. It was 21 seconds left when it was a tie game. A high-scoring game tied at 3. Going to the end of regular halftime. Go to the end of half. 3-3. And Jason Myers kicks a 50-yard field goal to take the lead 6-3, and that's how they win on a 50-yard field goal at halftime.
That's how it ended. That's how it ended. I mean, I woke up this morning and I knew we weren't going to be on the air. Thank the Lord for that. Wife had to work, and before she climbed into her office, she says, "What was the final score of the game last night?" I said, "Baby, do you really want to know?" She just shook her head and went, "No." I said, "Baby, let me put it this way. There was a grand total of 9 points scored in that game. Anybody who knows Ferris Bueller's Day Off gets the reference." I said there was a total of 9 points scored in that game, and only 3 of them were scored by the Bears. She said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Baby, you watch football with me. You have watched football with me for the length of time we've been together. You know I can't make this up." She looked it up and said, 6-3. I said, "Baby, there are Colts games we didn't watch because of what happened during the game. The COVID game from 3 years ago, and I've told that story on the air where we both got COVID the same day." We watched the first drive of the Colts and the Jaguars, and we looked at each other and said, "The heck with it, we're taking a nap." That happened. Okay, that was the rarest of the rare for me. A Thursday night game that I didn't cover. I went to bed early, and early for me, I was in bed before 9 o'clock. And Jody looked at me and said, "What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be covering the game?" I'm like, "Baby, it's the Seahawks and the Bears." She says, "Come to bed." I did what I said. I came to bed.
You went to bed, you got to catch up on some rest.
Yep.
When you have games like that. Now, Sunday will be a game you'll stay up for between the Falcons and the Commies. And I'm
waiting for Jaden Daniels to hang 500 yards on him.
See, I'm contemplating either going because it's like a 2.5 hour drive for me from where I'm at. I could go, and I'm actually off from work the next day. I'm good. When I'm done with the shows tonight, I'm gonna look at the tickets, and I got 2 people that said depending on price and how it could be planned out because it is a night game. Depending on if they're in or not. I just don't want to go solo. I'm not going to drive up there.
I want to see Jaden Daniels hang 500 yards on the Atlanta Falcons. That's what I want to see.
And I also, at the same time, if I wouldn't go solo because I can't top the Hail Mary game from when Chicago was.
That's your peak.
The only way that would have been closest if I would have been there last weekend with the Eagles, but.
Yep.
It was Christmas and all that stuff, getting ready for that, and with work and everything, I couldn't do it, man.
Right.
So I thought about it, but then I was like, no, I couldn't find anybody that close to Christmas. People are pinching pennies, man, and these tickets prices are going up now because they're winning. So,
yeah.
Looking at this game, though, Snowman, 6-3. We have to break part of it down, unfortunately. I know we don't want to. Right? I know we don't want to, but we have to. for the sake of Total Football. Cole's going to go back and look at these episodes.
Okay,
He
it's Total Football Talk. We talked football. The Bears played against the Seahawks. There were 9 points scored in that game. There's your breakdown right there.
Cole's going to go back and be like,
I know he is.
Enough. We have to recover it on Monday.
We have to
we can't do that. Just because Snowman
and he would call and he would call me. Listen, he would call me saying, "Why'd you take the show off the rails with the Thursday night game?" I said nothing. And my response would be, because nothing happened in that doggone game. That's why.
Yes.
Nothing happened.
But there is a difference between when you go off the rails and when I go off the rails. Like you go off the rails, you might forget what planet you're on for about 12 and a half seconds. During that 12 and a half seconds, you start saying these different things that you shouldn't be saying in that moment, as to where I'll just get trigger happy and start clicking a bunch of buttons. But that's where I go off
I'm
the rails.
learning to be trigger happy with the buttons and not with the mouth, because hold on, folks. I got a stern talking to from someone you guys should be very familiar with. This pretty lady right here gave me a very stern talking to at the top of the summer. We took this picture last year at Soldier Field, as a matter of fact, because I did a college football game there. She gave me a stern talking to. She broke out the wife finger. She broke out the mom finger. She broke out the voice. And there's a voice that she does that I try not to laugh when she's breaking that when she does that voice. And Victor, you know which voice it is because you've met Jody. She breaks that voice out, and I'm sitting here like this, knowing she means, and I know Jody means well, okay, and I take a lot of her advice in building the brand and building the network. She also knows I'm a nut. She also knows I'm a goofball. So the way she would bring her message to me, she would make me laugh, but she also makes me remember what happened. So she gave me a stern talking to. And I've learned to peel back from going full George Carlin on the air. Though, given what we're going to talk about a little later, I've had my moments. Thank goodness they're few and far between, though.
Hey, we all have our moments, no man. Nobody's perfect, but the important thing is that we all got up today for one.
Yes, yes.
No matter what the struggle is, there's people out there that have it far worse than us. That would love to be doing just the small things like what we're doing right now. Like,
right.
The small thing of just being able just to sit here and talk. The production stuff and everything else that we are talented with what we are doing, that's an added bonus. I mean,
yeah,
there's people up here that just like have like, my name is Kevin, and then like they talk like there's no foundation behind it.
Exactly.
With what we do, with what I do, like like with where Cole is, like he's been great for both of us. He's been that bridge for me to Cole and to many others, to where all these different people we collaborate with, we get better because we're evolving over time, because we're teaching each other new things within this game, which is why you have a production that you're a part of for the first time in a minute, reminding you of certain elements of the past, at the same time looking like a whole new upgrade in background and Total Football Talk and presentation and less hair and less hair. Yeah.
Well, this behind me is courtesy of my beauty. She got this for me. I'm gonna put a green screen on it, and I'm gonna work a couple things myself. Before we go any further, gotta say this though. One of my broadcasting heroes passed away earlier today by the name of Greg Gumbel.
Gumbel passed away today.
Greg Gumbel passed away earlier today. He was 78 years of age, and what I'm gonna say will probably make me cry because I lost a lot of heroes to this. It was cancer that took him.
Oh no, man.
He was fighting cancer, but just couldn't get across the finish line. And anyone who knows me or knows of me, Greg is one of the broadcasters I mention a lot that has shaped me into who I am, along with Jim Durham, along with Wayne Larrabee, and and John Rooney, and Woody Durham from my time down in North Carolina. But yeah, we lost a pioneer today in Greg Gumbel. He was 78 years old. His family, I know his wife Marcy and his family are really, really struggling to deal with this. But our thoughts and prayers come from here and from everybody in the broadcast community to you, to the Gumbels right now. And we say that we are praying for you. We know it's going to be hard to get through. And from someone who lost their father to cancer, it's going to be doubly tough, because when you lose someone, I'm sorry, when you lose someone that close to you and that's tied in with you. And it was my dad who introduced me to Greg Gumbel in 1991. It was my dad who introduced me to Greg Gumbel he was the studio host for the NFL Today after Brent Musburger left and went to ABC in 1990. My dad introduced me to Greg Gumbel. So
is his son Brian Gumbel, or is that his brother?
That's his brother.
Okay.
That's his brother.
So there's still a Gumbel around carrying the tradition. Is he still working like actively?
Yeah. Brian's still at it. I haven't
seen him in a while.
Yeah. Well, he's peeled back his schedule a lot. You know, it was the Today Show that got me into Brian Gumbel. It was my dad that introduced me to his brother Greg, as I said, in 1991. And then I started researching Greg the same way I started researching Jim Durham and the others. Turns out Greg, for the longest time, he did work at ESPN during their infancy, and he was also the television voice of the New York Knicks. He was the television voice of the MSG for the longest time. But rest in peace, power in paradise, Greg Gumbel.
Definitely a legend out here. And if it wasn't for them paving the way, we wouldn't have, things on the internet like podcasting to keep the dream alive, to where
exactly
it still gets enough reach at different points to where, even though it's like playing the lottery, you're the one out there that set the bar to where it gives us hope with playing the lottery each time we go live, to where you never know. With certain shares, there's been certain videos that we've had that have been shared that have been a reason why there's been spikes in subscribers or likes or videos or watch hours, wherever the case may be. The hard thing is just getting the consistent viewership, watch time, to be able to really make any money on it, for one. And two, when you work a full-time career and you have a life around it, sometimes you gotta push it back a day or two on a specific project that you do that isn't like your daily part of your weekly agenda. Like Total Football Talk is planned every single Monday.
Yeah.
Extra might not happen at the exact same time on Friday as it did the week before, but I do it on Friday. And then there's other projects, like, how it is, Snowman. It's like you try to stick with it, but certain things, if they're not like consistent projects, like D Willy in the evening and stuff, like I'll push it back a couple weeks. But speaking
I love that show, right? When you go completely, I have. You go completely off the rails, and I love it. Yes, I did. Taco Tuesday destroyed
Santa and the evil little people. Paying homage to Snowman with the comedy show.
When you told me the title, when you told me what the title of your show is going to be, man, there were tears in my eyes, tears of joy, because to get that kind of honor, man, I can't thank you enough for just being there.
Brother, season 3. This is season 3 that we're on. Is that one?
Yeah. D Willy the Evening is in season 3. Snowman in the Morning is in season 11. And I got to show you a cool present that my wife gave me.
I'll never catch you. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'll never catch you on the episodes, though, because I can only do like 10 to 15.
Oh yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. I'm laying the foundation.
Some money to do it from home.
I know it's gonna look. I know it's gonna take some time, but I know that break of yours is coming. This is what my wife gave me. One of the gifts that my wife gave me.
Knows everything. If he doesn't know, he makes stuff up. That's what I'm talking about.
Pops was the name I called my dad, and now my children call me Pops. So she found that, and she's found a bunch of other stuff here around my desk for me. So your break is coming, Drew. I'm praying that for you right now. I'm putting it out there. Your break is coming, and I know it is.
I appreciate it, brother, and yours is too. We just gotta keep hanging on. You know.
Oh yeah.
We keep bringing them that fire, that great content. They keep watching, they keep getting entertained. We got all these comments to actually review real quick because I didn't really pay attention to them because of how fun we were having with this, and we had to review the games. I will say this. So Cole, if you get to this part an hour in and we didn't go to the stats of it, you know the game sucked. It was 63. All right. There's no point in reviewing it. Caleb Williams, fingernail man. You know what? Hang on. Before the comments. Fingernail man.
Oh,
16
no.
to 28, 122 yards and 1 interception. He probably would have done better and would have had more aerodynamic in between his fingers if he didn't have painted fingernails. Didn't have painted fingernails. His would be better with aerodynamics, no man. You and I both know that.
Yes.
It's the absolute mother, father, and truth. Okay?
Yep. It absolutely is.
Coming from Detroit. DeAndre Swift coming over to Chicago, the land of the deep dish pizza, and CM Punk. Back to WWE, go CM Punk. But I have a lot to discuss there, but we're on a football show. We'll talk about it. All right. But DeAndre Swift only putting up 53 rushing yards. That's still not as bad as the fact that his 53 rushing yards were about half of the production that his quarterback had in passing.
They don't use him enough. I've said that all year. They didn't use him enough in Philadelphia. They're not using him enough in Chicago. I mean, DeAndre Swift is severely undervalued.
And then looking at what Caleb Williams is doing, Caleb Williams had 37 yards on the ground on 5 carries, which is nice. But when you compare that to the 12 carries that DeAndre Swift had, 4 yards per carry, he's not even averaging a first down on 2 carries. He's got to get 3 carries to get a first down. You're not going to run the ball 3 times in a row primarily. Excuse me. The Bears looked like an absolute dumpster fire in this game where you only have 16 completions from your rookie quarterback. They're not mixing it up well enough, but at the same time, their offensive line has been having human turnstiles for like the past few seasons, which is why they've been Justin Fields couldn't even develop within the system because he was getting blame smacked out of him the entire time.
This is my resistance band that I got from one of my doctors. You see the hole in this thing? That's the Bears offensive line right now.
Ouch. I mean, the sad part is we're talking about the Texans and what they did against a team that like the Ravens. They're trying to go for the top spot in their division. They're a playoff team. We're also talking about how the Seahawks needed this win, and also the Rams to either tie or lose this Saturday, and then the Seahawks win the upcoming game in Week 18. They need to win this game, the Week 18 game, but also the Rams have to lose or tie this Saturday in order for the Seahawks to make it into the playoffs. Potentially, okay? Well,
it's all potential from here.
Yeah, because the fate's not in their hands. They just have to at least win in order to get to that point. But looking at that, you should not be having outcomes like this with a team like the caliber of the Bears who almost beat you.
Well, the Bears beat themselves. All right, let's just be totally real. The Bears, we should have known that the Bears are going to find some kind of way to beat themselves. They always do. They always do. And I would say it's sad for a team like the Bears, but when you got a person named McCaskey running your team, you got problems. Lots and lots of problems.
Even though it wasn't a high-scoring outcome for it to
Didn't have to be.
It still qualifies for...
That
In
it
the words of
does.
Charles, Sir Charles.
That's terrible.
Let's see. Let's play a quick game, shall we? How many games can we think of this year that were as bad as what we saw on Thursday night?
Every game this week. Look at Monday. Look at Wednesday. I mean, every single game was won by double digits or more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, there wasn't a triple digit win, but
Well,
every game
then you have what happened Thursday night.
I'm saying, Snowman, like every game was won by double digits. It's sad. This was one of the worst holiday showings for football that I can recall, along with the Netflix presentation that I still will say to this day I was not enthused with.
Nor am I. And I'm a broadcasting madman.
Yes.
Being in this for 30 years, I can't say I've seen worse. Because the bad part is with this game was as bad as the Netflix presentations. And yes, I pluralized it. Presentations.
Yep.
Because there's no way you can even at least try to equal what the blank we saw or somewhat saw Thursday night. Not a chance.
There is one thing that Snowman and I can't explain, and it will take a little bit of explaining to do there, Snowman. It's about that time that we're getting closer and closer and closer to going back in time. You and I sparking it back up like we're in the DeLorean going 88 miles an hour with the flux capacitor intact, going back to the Sensei days to talk about this man, this meme, but in present current event times. This is what I've been waiting for since I ended Commander's Gridiron Report earlier. Clicked the end stream button, looked at my text messages, and then I immediately started beaming because Snowman wanted to entertain this graphic right here. This is what I've been waiting for. But before we get to that, we have to go to one of our favorite parts of the week. We have to acknowledge going from opening drive to the grand champ.
All right, let's go. We got trips, right? At 42, 989. On two. Ready?
Total Football Talk Extra.
Where my dogs at? I know where he is. He's right there. As we improvise with where my dogs at. Yeah, that was real time. That was me. We are live. As we got to talk about who our champ for this week, the start of week 17 between Wednesday and Thursday night's games. I know it's kind of hard to choose from, and not in a good way. All right, not in a good way, Snowman. When you look at this, I zoom it into you as we talk about our grand champ picks of the week, and let's review yours there for the Snowman.
Mine is Derrick Henry. 27 rushes, 147 yards. He caught 2 for 18. This saved Baltimore's season, strangely enough, because Pittsburgh is going to fall flat on their face, right? And the Ravens figured out, hey, we have a running back that can, I don't know, run the football now. His name is Derrick Henry. And this is the reason they got him. This right here on Christmas Day in a play as the visitor visiting a playoff team, Derrick Henry does that. These are the numbers you want to see and see often from Derrick Henry. And now that we're into December, we're about to go into January. I think now is the time you crank up the engines and you run the daylights out of Derrick Henry. I made a comparison some time back about who Derrick Henry reminds me of. And some of y'all are not gonna think about this, But Derrick Henry reminds me of a young Roger Craig. Give him the football. That's all the Ravens need to do. If they're going to win, you got to give Derrick Henry the football. 29 total touches. My target each week for him is 30. So Derrick Henry is my dog of the week.
So Snowman's pick on the board here. And a bonus question within this, since you do have your pick here, Snowman, is he the lock for MVP, or is it Saquon at this point? If the week ended right, if the season ended right now,
Neither.
who do you have over them?
Patrick Mahomes.
But you could argue that for the stretch that it's been, the defense has really carried them.
15-1. This is an offensive. Think of the way the league thinks.
I'm thinking more of the head coach would deserve that than
Mm-hmm.
the coach of the year.
Think of the way the league thinks. Who do they want to see win a lot of individual awards? He wears number 15. Yep.
Yeah,
That's why I'm saying think of the way they think. Is he my pick for not only MVP, but Offensive Player of the Year? There's a tie, him and Saquon Barkley. Because Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are the reasons why their teams are where they are.
Kind of like how Charles Woodson was a co-Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you get the idea.
MVP.
You
But
get
has
the
that
idea.
ever happened in the NFL? I don't recall that ever happening where we have a co-MVP or
Yes, it did. 1997. Really? Brett Favre and Barry Sanders.
The same year we had the co-Heisman?
Well, not the same way you had the co-Heisman, but we had co-MVP in 97,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, all right. Well, it's weird. They were both in the same year. There was a bunch of fixing the books happening that year if that was the case, Snowman.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. If they both happened in 97, somebody's cooking the books over there. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Something got fried in those books, man.
Yeah, something's happening in those books. But we're going to talk about something over here, Snowman. We got to talk about the fact that not only you got your pick for the grand champ of the week, I got mine too. And I had to go in a direction where you were just talking about him for the MVP. I had to go with Patrick Mahomes here. Finally looked like a playoff quarterback this season. That's why I kind of debated you for a second, because his stats in this game we have not seen consistently like this from him at all this year, really. I mean, we've been questioning if this team would make it in the playoffs, even if they limped there, winning these one-possession games. They made that streak happen. That was cool. That's awesome. They set history. But the big history that you need to do is do something that nobody's done in the 50-plus years, almost 60 years of NFL Super Bowls, is win 3 in a row.
Win 3 in a row.
And with this type of statistic this week, he actually looked like the quarterback that could potentially lead this charge, because this team's been banged up a little bit at certain points this year, but overall, predominantly healthy in comparison to teams like the Lions and others like the Steelers, who have been really banged up throughout this year. That's really affected them. But the Chiefs, though, 29-38, 320 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, with 1 carry for 12 yards. Again, he looked like a playoff quarterback in this game on Christmas against a team that had hype of potentially beating them on their own home turf. He comes in, leads his team on the road like he's done several times over, like that first Super Bowl that he won many years back when they won it as the road team with the consistent road wins, doing what they did to get the first Super Bowl. Snowman, your choice that you had for Derrick Henry was outstanding, and I don't think I did too bad right here with these 2 Netflix robe-wearing mother fathers.
Exactly.
So that is our choices for the grand champ of the week. Before we go any further, Snowman, we got a bunch of comments we got to acknowledge from the fan base over here. Snowman Multimedia, he's ready to rock and roll, as he was, because we had a little bit of a delay as the other show was delayed as well. What in the all types of blue hell, says Sick Diggy out here in these streams? The following broadcast is rated R for ridiculous and Avenger shenanigans. Avgear? What is Avgear shenanigans?
What in the all types of blue hell?
Rated R. Viewer discretion is advised. We have to be careful with it because we are Comey Media. We got to be respectful.
Yeah,
Goals
very much so.
So we say certain things, but I like editing myself in the moment as I'm talking to. But the Senseis are back in town. When I make the now available promo, I think I'm going to do the Boys Are Back in Town songs. We are back, Snowman.
You know what? That is great. That is a great selection.
Hey, for the next 2 weeks, because I'm only doing this until the regular season's over with the recap. If you want to join me on Fridays, if it's a good time and you're free, we can talk and do what we're doing tonight.
You got it.
But
you got it.
We're going to go back to the regular show on Mondays.
All right.
After the regular season is over, because there's not going to be Monday night games, and once all the Monday night games end, to where it's strictly on the weekends and we can talk through Sunday, we'll be back on track. But making sure that it is Total Football Talk action, Snowman, which is why we are here with the Extra. Snowman Multimedia is brought to you by Southside Slapbox Academy. Let the scrapping be slapping. And get them, Snowman.
And Camel Clutch Wrestling Academy. Either we make you champions or we make you humble.
See, Snowman, I can do that with the humble. I knew I couldn't do it. I've heard him say it like 100 times at minimum. Like I know. When I know greatness when I see it, and I have to let him have his moment with the humbling sound.
You are most kind.
As that graphic is pure genius. He loves it. I'm guessing that he loves the one with LeBust, which we will get back to here as we're approaching that. As we've gone through our first award, we have one more award to go to. Even though I wish I could just give it to LeBron, but he doesn't play football, so we couldn't give him the award.
As I've said throughout most of the program tonight, don't tempt me.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Snowman. We reopened the dojo. The shenanigans are gonna be extra painful from the gut busting left.
The shenanigans are epic tonight.
We got like 50 reels already we can make from this. We can make an entire month's worth of content in reels.
I was gonna say only 50. I think we can make more than that.
Triple digits already. You're talking about double digits, and we got triple digits just in that. Like, what's going on out here at Snowman Multimedia? I'm sure the spirit of Vince Lombardi was screaming.
Oh yeah. What's going on out there?
34-0, but it was in his house. At least he was winning like that in his house. 34. Imagine doing that in New Orleans.
Oh jeez.
If your team's losing that bad, especially
I'd run out of words.
First half, when do you leave? How do you know when to leave?
Given this season, whenever you feel like you need to leave.
Okay.
Given this season, given this rotten season for my 49ers, you feel whenever your energy goes down, you get out.
Well, apparently, I'm just now seeing mixed message about turning my mic volume up. Hopefully, it hasn't been that bad throughout the show.
Okay.
Have you been hearing me okay?
Yeah, I've been hearing you great.
All right, cool. Well, all right. Well, my bad, Mick.
I've been hearing you great, man.
He says turn my mic up. I don't know what was happening with that, but yeah,
I
Mick.
think it was away from you for a while.
Oh yeah, I might have been sitting back for a minute when we were getting.
Yeah. I think it was away from you for a bit.
Yeah, Snowman and I get onto these tangents. When we start talking about stuff, I start shifting. I might not be in the body position that I need to be because I'll start zoning out to the left, envisioning what we're talking about while producing a show. Give me a break, Mick. I might be moving away from the microphone. I'm doing my best.
I am guilty as such. I am guilty also of that very thing.
But you also know the tricks when we like record it and then we download it. Like say if we're sending it off to a radio station or something, we can adjust the audio when we're editing it and turn it up.
Yeah.
And we usually can get by with it. It
That's
might
how I
not
got
be
started
as
with
crisp
my
and clear, but
editing.
it's louder.
That's how I got started with my editing, doing a lot of audio.
Mm-hmm.
I did a ton of audio getting started.
I do try my best to make sure it's good. I didn't have time to tune it earlier, so hopefully the other show's good too. But what I am going to do is I got to get back in the habit of tuning it before I start, so that way it's just a one shot. I don't mind editing the video clips out, but audio. I just don't feel like taking forever on. I've been trying to watch the breathe and all sorts of stuff.
Been there with that one. Done play by play for 29 years. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, apparently Mick was having a really hard time listening to me. I don't know, but better be pissed off than the pissed on, he says. I mean, Mick I think was mad because he couldn't hear me all that well. Mick is also like 77 years old.
Yeah.
He's up there. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm just guessing his age, but he's up there in age.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably not even watching now. We probably pissed him off so bad back then. He's not part of the ones who's still been sticking around. He's probably like, they're not even acknowledging my comments.
You never know.
This was an hour ago.
He could still be there.
I hope he is. I mean, if he is, let me know.
He could still be there, you know.
The crybaby LeBron, the crybaby meme of LeBron James is brought to you by Snowflake Anonymous. The only safe space where a snowflake's feelings matter. Yeah, happy holidays to all of you.
It's like we haven't, folks. It's like Sir Willingham and I haven't missed a beat, even though we haven't been on the air together in a long time. It's like we haven't missed a beat.
We can pick it up like a fine glove. It's just
right where we left. We pick it up right where we left off.
It's tough to find the timing with life's changing. Snowman's grandpa again. All sorts of wild stuff happening out here, cousins and stuff, all sorts of wild things happening.
So much going on, and that's being nice about it. So much going on.
My work schedule moving on. I mean, moving to a different time during the week, so it was kind of tough. Like Total Football Talk, I know it was testing Cole's buttons for a minute because my schedule was changing, like flip flopping. There was like a month between like a 4 to 6 or 7 week period where my schedule flipped like 3 or 4 times. We had to keep changing the time of the show, where we were in the afternoon to the morning to early in the morning to like 8 a.m.
Yeah, I caught all those changes because sometimes you guys were on when I was on.
Mm-hmm. And we finally settled into this season of football, because this is only our second. Our second season covering it with the show. We've been able to do this entire year in the same slot on Mondays, like 11 a.m.
I'm glad. I'm glad you guys have been able to find a groove, because it's tough to do.
You're working with multiple people's schedules. Like it's you can't get upset about it. He's got a work career. He's also got other hobbies and stuff within this that we work with, and just to be able to share the Total Football Talk platform is fun. And then it is. It's all built around both of our talents. The communication is key, and just showing up. Just showing up when you got to be there, but also communicating through and through, and a week ahead of time, like you got to go out of town. Like, of course we do all that, and that way we can still make these projects happen. But apparently my mic sucks again. But this is at 7:49 p.m. Eastern time. He was either giving me a hard time about this microphone, but you haven't said a word to me about not being able to hear me. So that's why
I've been able to hear you great. The only time I didn't hear you is when you inadvertently muted yourself.
That one time, and then I clicked the button.
Yeah, you had inadvertently muted yourself. All the other times, it's been great. And I think a lot of that, like you said, has to do with the angle of the microphone, which is why I have this in front of me, and I use my boom mic and my mic arm instead of my mic stand that I had last year, because I had so many problems trying to adjust it. But it takes a bit to find that groove. It takes a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does, and it definitely depends on how things are rocking and rolling for you. As Six said, with the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, they're all looking good in those MVP Christmas coats. However, Andy Reid looked like great dressed as Santa after the game, eating that red velvet cake over here. You know, they're all gathering. They're in two different places, but they're in spirit with one another. These are the champs. These are the ones that could we possibly see facing one another in the AFC Championship game.
It's just like you said. These are the champs. These are the champs. To be the champs, you got to beat the champs.
Yep. And
To
LeBron's
be the champ,
going to
you
cry
gotta
about
beat
this
the
past
champs.
Christmas Day all he wants to, but we are going to destroy that topic.
Oh, I can't wait.
In the Gridiron Scoop.
I can't wait.
A few more comments we got to go through first. Kenneth Clark says, "Hey, Snowman, how are you doing tonight? I'm doing good tonight. Are you streaming 3-header for us all?"
A triple header? Yeah, I got a triple header coming on New Year's Day with the college football playoff. So get ready. This is going to be a lot of fun. This triple header is going to be a lot of fun.
Victor Locke talking about said the Bears-Seahawks game would be a shootout. And he said a shootout between the Stormtroopers and the AT.
Let me talk to
you. That was great, Victor Locke. Ooh, you know what I do have because Victor is here. We're gonna shift over here for a second. I'm gonna take this off right here.
All right.
And I have a button that I can
Oh no. Here it comes. You can't go wrong with that.
Is in the house.
You cannot go wrong with that at all.
School definitely. But when it comes to Vicola, definitely that's a good one. Mick says the Rams will lose. Also says that I deserve to be fired. And then he says the Bears talk it up the expletive. S for shenanigans. Typing error. My mistake. Sick diggy. You sound better now. I sounded kind of distorted, I guess, when I slid away because it might have been when I was doing this.
Yeah,
I was shifting and doing the in front of the camera thing. I just set the desk up and everything that I was telling you about in the green room.
Yep.
And still getting things set up from the other day when I got it. So by the end of the weekend, I'll have it straight. But for a quick throw together of TFT XTRA with Snowman, it's definitely getting the job done.
You did great, man. You did great with the setup. So, folks, do us a favor. When we're together and we're on Cole's channel, please, and I beg of this of myself, limit the swearing because that is a requirement. That is a requirement.
He's commenting all these comments on Sartoba. So like I'm.
Oh, okay.
I looked at them, but I didn't read them. But yeah, you know. Yeah,
I'm just.
Mick's been watching on Snowman. You know how Mick is on.
I know. It's just it's something that's important to me as it is important to you guys. So it's like I talked about earlier. My wife gave me a stern talking to about that, so I'm shaping things up myself.
Well, all right, is it time yet? Talking to whether you gotta have a stern, whether you gotta have a stern talking to or a stern talking with them. Either way, somebody's gonna take. Snowman, it is now time. It is now time that we go on to the Snowflake of the Week.
Total Football Talk Extra.
It's extra chilly tonight as the Snowman, Brian Snow, is in the house with me as we discuss the Snowflake of the Week pick. And first, it's Snowman's turn.
Well, I had so many to think of it, but how can people say that this guy has rebounded and has done better since he's been in the starting lineup when you put these kind of numbers together with the world champions in your house. Russell Wilson is the reason the Pittsburgh Steelers are frauds, period. 17 of 31, 185 passing yards, threw an interception, didn't throw a touchdown pass. Hey, Russell, I thought you were Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, right. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs had a little something to say about that because you were very limited. If you were Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson, you'd put up better numbers and you would have put your team in a position to win. As it turns out, it's what I've said about you the second half of your career. You're not Mr. Unlimited. You're Mr. Cut Off. I'm done.
Snowman giving his true thoughts on how he feels about Russell mother-fathering Wilson for his pick of the Snowflake of the week this week. Now, it's up to me. Tip the scales. We're not going to pick the same person now, but I am going to pick another quarterback, someone who put up an even worse performance that you would definitely agree on at this. And you probably would have picked him had I not picked him already. But this is my wild guess. But my pick was C.J. Stroud. 17 of 31. Absolutely. 185 passing yards. Look at the looks on his face. This is real-time plays from this game. This is actually what happened in the photos that I found. I mean, this has been an uglier than a sophomore slump play like throughout this entirety of this year.
Yep.
This team, we just talked about it earlier, has been disguised with the record that they had. They since winning the division or clinching the division a playoff spot, they've lost 2 consecutive games now.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost to the Ravens 31-2, as we just talked about. At least losing to the Chiefs was respectable, and that was in Arrowhead. You got whooped like this at home. Snowman, make it make sense.
I can't. The only way I can make it make sense, I'll give you a little bit of Al Michaels.
He did what?
A little bit of Paul Allen.
Are you kidding me?
And my favorite sound of all time. Oh, I couple it with, let's see. How do I describe the Christmas games and the Thursday night game?
Boring. Okay.
There.
I mean, did I at least fill the gap here for yours? Like, looked like an absolute dumpster pelican.
Oh, you did great. You did great. Absolute dumpster pelican.
Tried, Snowman.
It's all right.
It might have been
right.
for being on the fly. The numbers might not have been 100%, but the picture in the pick was. So doing it on the fly to try to keep. I wanted Snowman to be involved. Okay, I wanted Snowman to have his own graphic while we're talking about the Snowflake of the week, and at least the picks for what they were, for him selecting old Russell Wilson, and for him also selecting good old Derrick Henry. These numbers are right. I think. These are wrong. I don't think.
Look at Victor's choice. Look at Victor's choice for Snowflake of the week, and it ain't even close.
Let's go back. Caleb Williams. Fingernail paint and expletive.
Victor, I have a song for you. Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to break this out. But
use a troll. Troll. Use a troll. Troll. Use a troll.
Nicola.
Use a troll.
Yeah, it fits. I've now reached level 40.
It does. It definitely does fit. I was trying to. Yeah. So his Snowflake of the week, Caleb Williams. So he's still in the quarterback conversation.
Yeah. How could I have missed that? Oh,
and the Snowflake
Lord.
of the week is Crybaby Laker that you'll be discussing shortly. Yeah. I respect that pick. We just couldn't pick it because it wasn't football, but I respect his pick.
We couldn't pick it because it was too. We couldn't pick it because it was too easy. We couldn't pick it because it was too easy.
But before we get too far, I want to give a shout out to Sick Diggy earlier, and to those of you who are watching, no matter what platform you're on. If you're watching this on Sartoba Media, Snowman Multimedia, or on Comey, Comey Media, want to give you all a shout out to those of you who were there earlier today, as we were talking about the Commanders winning yet another game, as Jaden Daniels throws 5 touchdowns to beat the Eagles 36-33. 10-5 Commanders. Snowman, real quick pick before we go into the next segment. Do they win Sunday night against the Atlanta Falcons at home?
By plenty. By plenty.
Oh, yeah.
Jaden Daniels.
You guys want to hear a fucking story?
Tell them the story, Snowman.
Jaden Daniels gets 400. Without even
You're fucking scared. Yeah, you're fucking scared, man.
You scared of that 400? Tell them, Snowman. Keep telling the story.
400. I want Jaden Daniels to get 400. I originally said 500, but you want to save Jaden Daniels for the playoff run. So Jaden gets 400. He rests for the fourth quarter, and that's that. Game, set, match.
Do you think the Falcons can come to town and say,
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no.
I think the Falcons come to town, and they're going to wind up saying, no, as they leave out of the back door.
with an 8-8 record?
With an 8-8 record.
Snowman.
8-8, 8-8, 8-8. That's Falcons winning the South.
Stop the cap.
Please.
Yeah, the Bucks need to win the cat. They
need to win it. The Bucks need to put it away, and they need to put it away now.
Yeah, they've been depleted with injuries. Like other teams have had it worse, but I feel pretty bad for good old Tampa Bay, man. But we'll see how it goes up in these streams. Now, got to get to our favorite part where we talk about the big old topic, the main topic that Snowman and I have to talk about here on the show, the one that you have been waiting for us to recap, because it's been a while since we have talked about this guy together. We're going to take it to the Gridiron Scoop. The Gridiron Scoop tonight is powered to you by
Sartoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
If you haven't subscribed to this channel, you suck as a person. If you don't watch this channel, you suck as a person. Yes, we are live. You suck because you miss out on the laughter, on the shenanigery, on the wild things that are going to come from this dome piece that is still breathing, okay? The shenanigery out here in these streams, you know that you are the one taking the... If you're not subscribed or watching it out here in these streams, please don't end up like this.
Guess what? Shut up. You'll be on a fucking plane.
No! Go into a place that you're not sure of until you check in off the plane and you find out you're somewhere you don't want to be. Speaking a language you don't know to the point to where you're saying this to them.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
In a place where you need to know this.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
When it comes to this.
You can't handle the truth.
And as always,
Acknowledge me.
And we're back, Snowman, as we're here for the Gridiron Scoop. That was in honor of Snowman. And a quick shout out, as we were talking about it earlier, to D Willy in the evening. Make sure you check out Taco Tuesday. Destroy Santa, now available. Last episode before the holiday break was this episode 30 from this past Thursday night, a week from this past Thursday. Snowman and the homage to that when it comes to the Gridiron Scoop, when it comes to a certain person, when it comes to talking about this man right here.
Okay.
How you feeling about his comments and about our main subject when it comes to shots being fired? LeBron says Christmas Day is for NBA, not NFL.
How do I feel? He asks such a question and gives me a curveball the size of a grapefruit. Let me see. How can I talk about why? First of all, LeBron, why are you opening your mouth? Okay? You may have won on Christmas night, and I hate that. But have you done anything significant as of late? Bishop Bullwinkle, answer that question for me, will you please?
It's right up right now.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, to the no.
Thank
Always
you.
edit out that miscue.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, how in the world can you fix your whole mouth? There goes the Southerner in me. Matter of fact, Bishop Bullwinkle, play it again, please. Bishop Bullwinkle did.
Hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Hell no, to the no.
What the hell am I doing in her?
Now, that is absurd.
What's absurd is LeBron thinking he's going to get some homage paid to him about a time where he doesn't even belong. You know, Snowman dragged me in here at the last minute to say that LeBron sucks as a basketball player, and I don't find any lies with that there statement.
You can't handle the truth.
To use a word that we use in the morning, these bronzesexuals don't know what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and why they choose to do it. And you know something? These bronzesexuals just plain make me angry. They don't really want to make me. How did David Banner put it? How did Bruce Banner put it? You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And what made me angry on Christmas night is the fact that LeBron got all the credit for something Austin Reeves did, which was win the game. Now, look, LeBron, you just need to go away. You need to take off your basketball shoes. You need to go ahead and retire. You need to leave us basketball fans alone. You started this, and it ain't going to ever be the same until you go away. This is your fault that the NBA is in the state that it's in. You showed your in the league 20 years ago, and nothing's been the same ever since. And I mean that in a very bad way. Go away. Leave us basketball fans alone. Leave the people that actually know basketball alone, because your records don't mean to us, because you didn't earn them. You didn't earn 3 of your championships either. You know why you didn't earn them? Because of Adam Silver. Adam Silver handed you one, or handed you a couple of them, I beg your pardon. And somehow David Stern from the grave handed you one too. You suck. You ain't a good basketball player. You don't need to be in the league anymore. You could take James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and the rest of those types with you, including Luka. What the hell is his name? Yeah, Luka Doncic. You could take him too.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's that.
I was gonna say, yo, King has risen, and now has fallen because of those P. Diddy parties. He got diddled by the diddler. Come on now, you and your southern characters you have.
Surprise, motherfucker.
It's time for old Willis McGahee Jr., 2nd of the 7th, come on out from the woods to tell you that we're all out here come on with the Snowman Holiday Gathering Special here on December 27th on this night on Friday. Talk about absolutely things don't make sense because this is LeBron James. And he is
Okay.
whether you like it or not, because there's a group of y'all sitting around in a circle saying this every day. To where me and Snowman out here with our sunglasses telling you.
Stop it. Get some help.
Is I don't have a good southern accent. Kofi Kingston all over again. That was like Kofi when he was with WWE back in the day. I wanted to have that kind of moment. That was what I was looking to have right there. I got Snowman. That was the best part about this whole thing. Like McDonald's, I'm loving it. That is absolutely amazing. Got him. In the words of my man, Hawks, we can say the A word. Got his ass.
You did.
And
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Come on now, Diva.
Oh, my brother, testify.
Stay off the weed.
It is the weekend, okay? But it's too early for that. Now, when it comes to one thing that you said about LeBron that had me thinking, when it comes to this whole tirade that he was on, talking about how LeBron says Christmas Day is for the NBA, not the NFL. LeBron's over there acting like a big old baby, acting like MJF in this moment.
You may claim to be the best in the world, but I'm better than you. And you know it.
And no, LeBron, the NBA is not better than the NFL for one. Okay, if you're trying to be MJF representing the NBA to CM Punk in the WWE representing the NFL, no, you are not better than the NFL. I'm sorry. I don't care what kind of pedestal you have NBA on, 2K, college, playing college pro football, whatever your ranking system is for how you like the sport and the level of it, you could take that and put it where the sun doesn't shine. Snowman, how do you feel?
Yes, LeBron, it is you. It has always been you. It always will be you. It is you now. Until you go away, as I mentioned a moment ago, it will always be you. For the failure, the ruining, and the plunger being pushed on a once proud league. Forever and ever, amen.
I love how Snowman broke into prayer with that one. That was great. And when
Victor
speaking,
gave me that one first.
You've been holding it. Snowman have been holding it.
Mm-hmm.
As we praise to
Okay.
Why is
Okay.
complaining like a spoiled brat regarding the NFL having games on Christmas Day? We all know who is responsible for the NBA's ratings being in the dumps. Snowman.
In the toilet.
This.
It's in the toilet.
It's in the toilet, but who do you believe is responsible for it?
LeBron's the reason.
Okay.
You like that? You like that?
You know you like that button.
I love it. I love it. Never said, never will say anything different. People want to challenge me all the time. You've been on the morning show with me and say that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to basketball. Someone actually challenged me recently to name 10 forwards that are better than LBJ. And before I could say anything, he quickly said, "You can't do it." Oh, no. I only had to say one name to get him off the air. I said, "Does the name Tom Chambers mean anything to you?" Never heard from him again.
No, man, that's kind of a dirty play, though. I mean, I expect.
Listen, he got 31st. I just got 30 last. By the way, I have a gift for you.
What's that?
Take a look at the back. I got a gift for you.
Snowman, nice.
In a world where logic and sense flies
Yes!
completely out the window, while purple and yellow glasses are donned, rises a figure who encourages ridiculous, undying loyalty. Good Lord, I'm about to throw up. This has been yet another installment of the Bronzexual Confessions.
Yes! Yes!
I knew you'd love that.
I think it's still. I still believe that it's on here since we're slightly off the rails for a second. The Sports Sensei is one where I think that was yes.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight, for the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronzexual Confessions.
I thought you'd like that.
Yes. Trip down memory lane there, Snowman. I love clicking that button when we would go into these LeBron tirades because.
Matter of fact, take a look now. Then I can match it. Yes, LeBron, it is you. It has always been you. It always will be you, forever and ever. Amen.
There it is.
Cole Johnson for that piece of genius. And Victor for the narration.
He's not the mad scientist for no reason.
Yeah, he's the mad scientist. He came up with most of the stuff that we use and have spun off of. I mean, why not?
Yeah, TFT. I mean, TFT. The intro and outro is created by him. I mean, our commercials and stuff too, and all the graphics and stuff that we do, like per episode. Like I usually do those. Like we have our own ways to contribute with it. But yeah, Cole legend between the intros and outros, promos, and everybody helps each other step their game up. So if it wasn't for others contributing to the cause out here in these streams with each other, this wouldn't be possible. That's why it's been nice to catch up with Snowman for these 2 hours, and we got to talk for the first time about one topic that we talked about all the time.
One more.
That was
Okay.
One more for you.
Bronzexual stupidity is brought to you by Hooked on Bronix. When you start talking like an idiotic bronzexual, Hooked on Bronix can set you right. Call 1-800-YOKAY.
Yes. Which is where that was born from.
Now approve all this.
Cole needed a haircut in that point. That was great. The one that I really miss is the stupid university one.
Oh, just a moment. Now, you know better than to mess with me like that. It is... Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It is right here. There you go.
I realize that I think, even though it's not advertised,
right,
there has to be a place for stupid people. We don't know because we're not stupid, so we don't know anything about it. It's like a secret club society.
Oh my gosh.
So I come to the conclusion that he graduated from SU, stupid university. Yeah, and all the stupid ass letters that go along with graduating high honors of being stupid. I can't do no more, man.
Aminos, dominos, vamonos.
The favorite
Stupid university, where everyone graduates magna cum stupid.
That's my favorite part. The Faminos.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
Yes.
Aminos.
I remember when that was created. Those were good times. But Snowman, Those looking at that and looking at LeBron's sexual confessions, everything that we just clicked on and talking about.
Okay.
Does his opinion deserve to be heard, especially with this expression on his face?
No. That's an opinion you put away and laugh at later when you're having a bad day and realize, hey, my day's not so bad after all.
Facts. Absolutely facts on that there, Snowman.
I gotta leave y'all with this. When my wife and I went on vacation last year, Drew was one of my fill-in hosts for that week.
Yes.
Man, we were driving back the day you hosted and we couldn't stop laughing.
It was all out shenanigery. You had Deeds on there. Deeds had all these technical difficulties. Didn't know how to work the damn thing.
Yeah,
I get on there.
Yeah.
You had McCoffey on there who was kicking it. Who was crushing it. And I went on there. I was like, sports and shenanigans,
which fit, which absolutely fit.
It fit the slot right there, Snowman. We crushed it. We absolutely did. We're talking about LeBust. We only have one more thing that we have to look at, and that is we gotta go into the post game.
As long as it's one. That's great. I love it.
Snowman, tonight's episode is episode 19. Since starting this extra project, basically I started it back when the NFL season was starting and we had the CFL and the UFL to keep us through the off season. We were using Total Football Talk for that. Well, because we were so invested into the CFL season, I was like, I talked to McCoffey about it. I was like, hey, you want to ride with me on this Total Football Talk extra project? And we still talk about the CFL while Cole and I revert the Monday show back to just talking about the NFL once week one starts. And we did. And then CFL ended. And then it got to a point to where, like, because we have small windows, like, especially in the morning, because he's working. Yeah. He's got his work schedule during the day, and I'm getting ready to go to work because I work like 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. And then it's about a 45-minute drive there, and 40 minutes. I'm gone from my house like 12 hours when I leave. So it's a lot in the 4 days. It's only 4 days, sometimes 5 if I'm on call, but it's a lot. So when you imagine getting up like 3 hours earlier than you normally would, and then doing this show, we have a short amount of time we can only do it. So when you do it on a Monday morning into the afternoon, you can't cover the Monday night game, and you don't want to go too far backwards when you're covering the show, like when we're doing it on Monday, where we don't want to go back and talk about Thursday and the Monday before, because that's just too much old news leading up to the relevant stuff. This is how this kept going. After the CFL season it made sense. So as we end the regular season to where we only have like maybe 2-3 episodes left of Total Football Talk Extra for this season, Snowman, what was it like coming on here to not only talk about football, but to talk about the one person in sports we despise the most?
Okay.
You know damn well that this is not a total
surprise, motherfucker.
When Snowman and I get together on the camera and there is any type of opening to put this man in the line of discussion, we find a way.
Okay.
On the subject, on the top of the chart, we have to where we can click this button 74.
Okay.
And at some point before this goes into the outro, I will click it a 75th time. You best believe that. Snowman, what are your final thoughts heading home from the post game?
Let's see. Post game thoughts. I was happy to do this show. I would be honored to do this show whenever you need me. I was dancing around like my little grandchildren, and I can't dance worth a lick. And I will say that out loud and just be honest with you. But I was so happy. I was so
Christmas
happy to do
Day.
this with you, man. I mean, this was Christmas all over again. And I truly appreciate it.
Hey, Christmas for me is this weekend, so it's like me celebrating Christmas. I'm
There you go.
celebrating my version of Christmas because I was working that whole time. I'm celebrating my version of Christmas with Snowman for a little bit before I get up and go do some other Christmas with the family throughout the weekend. So just how it is. But I'm glad that I was able to get up with Snowman for a little bit and talk football, LaBust, and much more. But my bad, Snowman. You continue with the floor. My apologies.
You're fine. I said what I needed to say. This was a blast. And I love
2 hours.
Yep.
2 hours. I got to look at the archives. I think this is the longest episode of Total Football Talk Extra that we have had. Because, I mean, CFL is on like an 8-team league or whatnot, or 9-team. One of them's on bye. It's 4 games.
Yeah.
Covering
4 games.
small league, UFL, same thing. It's all smaller to where you can fit different wedges of time in there to where it's usually an hour and a half. With Total Football Talk, the main show being 2.5, almost 3 hours on Mondays with Cole. But with this, man, it was definitely a blast. I got to do this with McCoffee, got to do this with you. And, look forward to doing this again at some point down the road there, Snowman. We'll have to get up again and definitely, do some projects together. I don't know about the Sports Senseis because of the way the whole dynamic was on a weekly basis because of, with scheduling and everything. And you got a lot going on. I got a lot, but we definitely have to find more time to where it's not so much time in between appearances together. The Senseis, we proved tonight, where even it'd been like a year and some change.
Yep.
And we get on here, and the chemistry was just got on here yesterday and did the damn show together.
Like we had done it yesterday, like you said. I'll throw a suggestion. Super Bowl week.
Super Bowl week.
I'll throw a suggestion. Super Bowl week, because I will be indeed here in my studio covering the Super Bowl that will be at the Superdome in New Orleans. And my mission for next year is for my entire crew, you included, to hang out with us in Santa Clara, California for Super Bowl 60.
That would be mother-fathering epic.
What?
I said it would be epic.
Oh, my brother, testify.
All there covering the game, and we have, between all of us, all the technology we have, we can definitely make some epic content while we're there.
Oh, yeah.
Not only the live times while we're there, but for the future to chop up later on like other people do. It'd be great. Be great, Snowman. Got to test out these sunglasses. Been testing out these sunglasses since I got them the other day. New prescription. The whole blue light filter thing for the computers, and it helps with all these lights in my face for the green screen.
Good.
It's not that bad out here in these streams, Snowman. We're out here green screening it up. You're about to be getting back into it.
I certainly am.
Elevating the game. Wouldn't have been able to elevate it on my own doing it with the Sartoba Media brand if it wasn't for you.
Surprise, motherfucker.
It's not a surprise, motherfather. This is right here. Snowman is definitely part of the struggle.
Sartoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about 4 games from this past holiday week. Snowman, before we get on out of here, he gave us thoughts on the Falcons. Finishing out the last 2 weeks of the season, how respectable do the 49ers finish it up with the way their record is now at 6-9? Do you think they finish it up at 8-9, or
No,
they're hanging it up?
No, we got to see the Detroit Lions, and we're significantly beat up. How does Shane put it? I'm a homer, but I ain't stupid. I know what's coming Monday night in Santa Clara.
Predicting it now, Shanahan done after this year goes somewhere else or steps down.
Nope. It would be unfair. It would be unfair because he went through this in 2020 with a ton of injuries. Remember, week 2, we lost Jimmy Garoppolo, we lost Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, and quite a few other players after going to play the Jets and the Giants. This year, we were already operating at a deficit. The dark cloud hanging over us with the Ayuk and Trent Williams situation. That situation got settled, but it was too close to the season, minus McCaffrey, and then the laundry list of injuries that we've had to deal with, to the point where we lost Jordan Mason, we lost Isaac Guerrero, Patrick Taylor was our starting running back last week against the Rams, and You know, it's just it wouldn't be fair to let Kyle Shanahan go when you don't have every part of your offense, every part of your team. Not just the offense, every part of the team, because we remind us Purdy for a week. We remind us Nick Bosa for a week. Trent Williams has been shut down. Dre Greenlaw has been shut down. This is the time for us to heal. I mean, get a full month plus off and just get away from the facility. You wrap up the season after you play Arizona, get some time away, take a vacation, and then you come back stronger, ready and more ready than ever to host the Super Bowl.
And what a great way to do it. Snowman, I hope that it all comes to fruition for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm going to be part of the team that gives our best so we all can be there at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60 and the entire week on Radio Row in Santa Clara.
Wouldn't it be crazy, though? Because, I mean, looking at the decline of the 49ers this year, injuries or not, you got a team like these Commanders right here, formerly known as the Redskins. There's been a lot of big pushback. Changing the name back to what's tattooed on my left arm. We've already established that on several occasions. Do you think that we could potentially, if all these things that you're talking about for Super Bowl 60 happens and we go, there's a potential that we see the commies in there as the NFC representative?
How about this?
Redskin, hail victory, praise on the warpath, fight for all DC. Run a pass and score, we want a lot more. Beat them, swamp them, touch them, let the point score. Fight on, till you have won.
Oh yeah, I gotta grab something for Snowman while you're playing this too.
I'm playing this for Drew, folks. There is a possibility that next year Washington and San Francisco could clash for the NFC Championship. There's that belt. I love it. There's the belt. I love it.
The W, I had to go run to the other room real quick and grab it. So I was like, you know what? I'll show you that the W doesn't stand for the commies. It stands for Willywood. That's what that's my nickname from them, because I go into promo mode on the podcast, and also when I'm like a guest on there. So instead of D Willy, it's Willywood. But all of the all four of the major podcasts I do, the In or Out Sports Debate, the Commanders Gridiron Report, Total Football Talk, and D Willy in the evening are all on the belt as side plates.
I love it. I love it. That's where they belong. On the side plates. That's where they belong, man. That is wonderful. And I love how the logo just makes everything pop, man. I love that belt.
I wouldn't have been able to show this to you when I first got this, when I was using just the webcam on the laptop. Like, I've upgraded the stuff this year. You know, not only with just having a cool belt, but you got a green screen and everything. If you want to be able to show it, you got to have, you know, decent equipment to roll with the work we're putting into it with the graphics. So Snowman, that you designed this logo. This logo that you made is on here. You know, I think the text of the Sartoba Media is a little bit different, but the logo itself is the exact one that Snowman made. Is within this brand. So shout out to you. That's why I wanted to make sure that you were part of this, because
thank you.
We hadn't had a chance to do you know, an episode together or anything since the belt was unveiled back in the summer.
Yeah. So well, it was an honor to be here with you tonight, man. I truly appreciate it. I truly do.
You were carried on within this belt, and at some point you're gonna hold this belt. We're gonna take a picture of it just like I will with Cole. And you can see all the little tiny microphones around this logo that are made like stones. Yeah,
I love it.
But yes, we've only got one more thing left to do now that we've looked at our football teams. We've talked about this week in football. We've gone completely extra with Total Football Talk Extra, episode number 19. For the snowman, Brian Snow, I am Drew Willingham. We've only got one more thing left to show you, and that is one badass outro. Everyone, as always, please, for yourself and us, stay safe out here in these streets. And if any of you out there serve, you're still welcome to subscribe to this channel, but keep your fingernail painted selves off to the corner and remain quiet. Thank you as always, and stay safe out here in these streets.